Slowly inhale. Gently open your eyes. Thank you. Yes. So, last class we had started with the Khechari Mudra, and we came to the understanding of the whole technique to how to go about with Khechari Mudra, where we need to first lengthen the size of the tongue respect to length, and we are supposed to do some exercises bringing the tip of the tongue to the chin, to the tip, in between your nose, in between your eyebrows, to the tip of the nose, sometimes to the right, sometimes to the left, and massaging it by applying butter and all, and then helping the longer. Also, cutting the frenum once in a week for 6 months, so that as the frenum is severed, we are able to insert the tongue in the nasopharyngeal tract. And this insertion into the nasopharyngeal tract is an conceptual understanding that we are totally diverting the sensual perceptions inward, and we are experiencing the nectar. Now, this is the nectar of spirituality, which is in word minded here very nicely by Swatmaramji. He says there is the Chandra in our skull, which keeps on putting out the nectar, which, if getting dropped into the Jatara, we are getting involved with the material world. But if we retain it up above into the skull itself, we are going ahead towards Unmani Avastha, or you can say Moksha. He even says that one who is practicing Khechari Mudra, even for a moment or a half a moment, he is experiencing that essence of godliness. And one who is experiencing this Somarasa, that is the strava of Chandra in the throat, even if he is bitten by the poisonous snake, it doesn't destroy him. And it is said that once you are into the practice of this Khechari Mudra, and if you are experiencing this strava of Chandra, or whatever you call as Soma, your body will not be destroyed. In fact, the Panchamahabhautik Sharira in which soul is residing and using it as a medium to go ahead and become one with the self will ensure that the body is still there until this Somarasa, or you can say the Chandra Strava, is retained up. If you see the shlok number 45, Indhanani yata vahani stail vartim cha dipakaha tatha soma kala purna dehi deham na munchati. Just the fire sticks to the fuel and the flame to the wick soaked in the oil, in the very similar manner, the soul does not leave the body, which is full of nectar secreted from the moon. So once a student asked me, "Sir, you said the nectar is getting into the tongue and it is remaining up." It is not coming to the body. But now here it is written that the whole body is becoming full of nectar. The literal understanding is if the tongue is getting absorbed into it, if the tongue is absorbing the whole nectar, it is like the whole body is getting the essence of the same, and it is not getting destroyed. Because if it drops into the Jatara, it is said that you are getting into the birth and death cycle. And then come across the analogy of eating the go mouse and drinking the Amaruni. So this eating of go mouse and Amaravaruni is said to is spoken about a person who becomes like a worthy scion for the family, or like a worthy symbol of yoga for the family, and the rest who are not into such kind of practice of yoga to reach the ultimate, they are like disgrace to their family, disgrace to their birth itself. So here it is made us clear that if you are not into the understanding of spirituality and going towards oneness with the self, you are actually not understanding the purpose of getting this body. So he makes it very clear in the next shloka, where he says that the tongue which goes into the nasopharyngeal tract is nothing but the activity of Mausa Bhakshana. And this is where we are overcoming the greatest of the sins, or we can say we are overcoming all the karma. That means if one is into the practice of Khechari Yoga, he is like getting into the worldly activities. In fact, he is becoming more and more spiritual and completely involved with the self. And in the 48th shloka, as he says that this Amarvaruni, which is the stream of the nectar, which is made to flow from the moon, is like, this is made, heat is produced by the insertion of the tongue into the nasopharyngeal cavity. Now here, my teacher used to always say, when you say heat produced by the tongue, then always remember that the heat produced by the tongue, but the understanding of our mind, our chitta involved with the external factors, or you can material aspect. Whereas when you are getting this heat cool down with the help of the Amar Varuni, it is like dissipating all the desires of the material world and getting into the oneness with the self. That is how you have to understand this. And this is where we stopped in the last class. And now we are going for the next 4 shlokas, which is making us understand 4 to 5 shlokas, how the things which we have just come across with the technique and the outcomes are supposed to be understood in a layman's language. So here he goes ahead, and in the 49th shloka, if you read, Chumbanti yada, Chumbanti yadi, Lambika Gramanisham, Jivharasya Adini, Jivharasya Anandini, Sakshara, Katuka Amla Dugdha Sadrushi, Madhvajya, Madhvajya Tulya Tatha, Vyadhinam Haranam Jarantakaram, Karanam, Vyadhinam Haranam Jarantakaranam, Shastragam Udiranam, Tasya Syad Amaratvam Ashtagunitam. Now, this word, Tasya Syad Amaratva, that is immortality. Ashtagunitam is the Ashtamaha Siddhis. Siddhang Gana Akarshanam. Siddhang Gana Akarshanam. Now, here, when we talk about the tip of the tongue, which is regularly inserted into the nasopharyngeal tract and touching the roof of the nasopharyngeal cavity, the tongue is exposed to the constant flow of this nectar. Now, this nectar, here it is described with the taste of saltish, pungent, sour, or of milk, honey, or ghee. He says, Vyadhinam haranam, all the diseases, Dantakaranam, the old age, Shastra Gama Udiranam, any kind of Shastra. I'm reading it wrongly there. Shastra Gamanam. So Shastra Gama Udiranam, any attack through the weapons is warded off. So diseases, old age, and the attacks from any weapon is warded off. Tasya syad amaratva ashtagunitam. And he also gains 8 Mahasiddhis, which is supernatural powers, along with the immortality, and wins the attraction of beautiful women, it says. Siddhanga Gana Akarshanam. Now, this is where I would say Swatmaramji exaggerating. Maybe he wanted to complete that shloka properly, so he chose that word. Sometimes I feel like that. Otherwise, there was no need of adding the Siddhangana. So there was no need, because you are speaking about total spirituality, and suddenly you are coming to the attraction of the worldly matters with that females or women appreciating you for what you are. No yogi will be working on the spirituality for the appreciation from females or for the appreciation from ladies. Yes, sir. Ashutosh, sir, you want to say something?
Sir, he is actually saying that they will be attracted. Those Siddhangana will be attracted.
Exactly.
So
Siddhangana will be attracted.
It is a warning signal. He is giving a warning in a way.
See,
it should be taken as a warning.
It should be taken as a warning.
Should be taken as a warning.
Yeah.
And in my text, in my particular thing that I have got on the internet, Siddhangana has been translated as fairies.
Okay. Fairies. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That is to be understood, then it is well and good. But sometimes, as my teacher explained, okay, the yogi who is practicing will be getting attracted to the females, he said. And that is where I was wondering, even if he is getting attracted to the females, but he should not be aware that he is being attracted to the females. At least his awareness should be completely towards what he is practicing. But this is the truth. Okay, the person who is practicing khechari will not only become an attraction for female, but he will be like an attraction to the whole world. In fact, the whole world will see, because that person will be having that Ashtama Siddhis, na? Ashtama Siddhis, becoming small as minute as atom, becoming big as magnanimous as you cannot just imagine about it. So when we say about these things, when we say sun is bigger than that earth as a planet, and as a star, it is bigger than the earth. When we see sun so far, we see it as a small object giving us light. But here, the very similarity is brought into a yogi's existence. A yogi's existence, until and unless he is known, he is very small. But when people start coming to have the knowledge of the same, it is like nothing else can be visualized. You become the attraction of everyone. Anyways, but here one thing is very clear. You are, a kind of different entity altogether from the people existing around you. You are something who is different.
Actually, I would say, right? Even from a pedagogic point of view, actually, it's not at all a bad illustration. because
Okay.
it conveys the point very directly and with brevity. Also, right? Also, as Sir said just now, here it's just that he becomes attractive enough or wins the attraction. It's not that he's going out to do it. I mean, at least that's not what is mentioned here. It's just that he becomes a caliber to whom beautiful women may be attracted. So that immediately tells us about the kind of personality that one develops. Like now, I feel like we've been, as a constant refrain, every thing that you have is like a tool. At the end of the day, the worth of the tool is how you use it. उसमें आपकी बुद्धि लगती है. But tool by itself is neutral. So, in a way,
what you said is very right. And let me be very clear here. Whether it is Ashutosh sir or whether it is Sunil sir, they are having the understanding of the subject of philosophy. And that's why you are coming into the positive statement of the same. But you just imagine the immature student who is reading this. The time when I started reading, I was very immature. And immediately I asked, sir, what is the need of that? So this becomes sometimes, it is very important for the teacher to make the student understand at that point of time that this is not to be done that way, but it has to be understood that whatever comes to you, you will be you will be like a fascinating point for others, inspiration for others, in fact, you should say. But giving this kind of words and making that you will be getting attracted to the others, then people will start practicing this practice to get attracted to others. That is where the misunderstanding can take place. So let us not bring that into consideration. This was the only thing which I wanted to make it very clear. Otherwise, there are so many stories. Indra fearing that Vishwamitra will be taking over the Swarga Loka and become the king over there, came down as an Apsara, Menaka, and made everything there. And that kind of, the morning we were talking about, the slightest thing which is there in your sanskaras takes you down. So this with Vishwamitra also. So with that slightest of the vasana which was there inside, brought him to the realization that he still need to be more apt or adept in his practice or sadhana, as it was supposed to be seen into it. So said and done. Now we will go ahead with the next. He is saying, Urdvaha Shodasha Patra Madhya Pranadvaptam Hathat Urdhvasyo Rasanam Niyamya Ram Chintayan Utkal Kalajalam च विमलम धाम्यम धारामयम यह पिबेत निर्व्याधि स मृणाल कोमल वपुर योगी चीरम जीवति. Now here have come to this state. The Shodasha Patra means 16 petaled lotus has been spoken about here. So 16 petaled lotus is nothing but the palate region, or you can say the Vishuddhi Chakra region, with the 16 petals lotus. So here meditating upon the Supreme Shakti with upturned face and tongue inserted into the nasopharyngeal cavity. That means practicing the Khechari Mudra. But if you see the technique earlier explained, it was told to bring the chin down. And now here it is said upturned face, keeping the tongue up. So once you have trained yourself to practice Khechari Mudra by inserting the tongue in, now you should be able to keep the tongue inserted in and take your chin towards the ceiling, upturned. Because when you take the chin up, there are chances that the tongue may slip down. But now with the practice, you have gathered that kind of technique that you will retain it up. Now again, this is an understanding that you are becoming adept in the conceptual understanding of connecting with the self. So here, meditating upon the Supreme Shakti and being continuously, constantly in the state of Khechari imbibing the surging streams of pure water forced out of the 16-petaled lotus. And this is none other than the Vishuddhi Chakra, which is placed in the throat. So, surging streams of pure water forced out of the 16-petaled lotus above by pressing prana into service. Now, this means all the energy in the body, all the forces in the body, right from Mooladhara to Swadhisthana, from Manipura to Vishuddhi Chakra, all these forces are pushing that pranic energy upward and trying to take you ahead beyond the material towards the oneness with the self. So here he says, above by pressing the prana into service, one leaves long with the body, soft like a lotus fiber, and is free from all the diseases. When he says here he is free from all the diseases, being born into a new birth itself is in our scriptures said to be a disease. Coming to birth itself is said to be a problem. So here he says, the moment you are going there, your body will become soft like a lotus fiber. Soft like a lotus fiber means what? It will get rid of all the karmic impressions. It will get rid of everything which is connected with the material world. It will become soft, it will become sattvic, it will go beyond sattva, in fact. And that is where you will be free from all the diseases. Now, Kaivaladham people has written a note over here, and they say that by meditating on the Supreme Shakti, Swatmaramji means to keep thinking of the rich and the intense sensation, the sensation complex rising up along the back to the head, and that is the rising of the pranic energy, which is the result of the Kundalini Shakti being roused to activity. Prana, in this context, means a possible autonomic reflex which the yogis prompt by their Hatha Yoga practices. Now, for the significance of the Shodasha Patra, we can go to Goraksha Shataka also, which is written by Gorakshanath himself, and this book has been also translated into its meaning by Kaivaladhama. So this Shodasha Patra aspect has been explained in Goraksha Shataka also with respect to Khechari Mudra. Khechari Mudra is explained here also, and here we are just made to understand okay, with all the yogic practices, with all the Hatha yogic practices, ultimately when you are able enough to practice Khechari, then you are going beyond the karmic impressions, becoming soft like a lotus fiber, and also that you are going beyond bringing your prana into the service, making yourself free from all the kind of diseases. That means the cycle of birth and disease, birth and death also is what you are getting release from. So, Swatmaramji here is not saying anything new. He is saying the same thing which was said in the earlier shlokas. But here he is giving a different word, different analogy, and trying to appreciate this practice to such a great extent that we get inspired and start practicing it. There again in the 51st one, he says, Yat praleyam prahati sushiram merum urdhva merum meru murdha meru murdhantarastham tasminas tattvam pravadati sudhistanmukham nimnaganam chandrat sarah sravati vapushtena mrityur naranam tadbadniyat sukaranamatho na anyatha karya siddhi. Now he is saying the one who knows Khechari need not focus on any other practice, because none other practices can going to bring him that kind of success with that speed as the Khechari is. Let us read the translation. The embedded Devi aperture at the top of the Meru in the head, where the wise place the Atman, is the terminus of the rivers. Now here he is talking about imagining the nervous system, the nerves, the spinal cord getting connected to the root, that is the brain. So here it gives us the kind of explanation. The thing in the skull is the terminus of the rivers. The rivers are nothing but the nadis or the nerves or the channels which are flowing into the whole body. Then he says the essence of the body flows down. That is the strava, that is Chandra, is flowing down. And when it is flowing down, it is wasted. It is wasted. What does this mean? The consequence of this is that in which the human beings die as the strava is going to the abdomen. Hence, one should adopt the beneficial karana, that is the Khechari mudra, is a practice, that is the Khechari mudra, and success in yoga can be attained by no other means. Tad badnyat sukaranamatho na anyatha karya siddhihi. Now, here we should understand that the nadis, which are many nadis coming to the conclusion with the Ida, Pila and Sushumna, these are considered to be running from a point at the head of the vertebral column to the lowest part of the back, that is your lower back, or you can say tailbone. So in this context, these nadis or the channels are the carrier of the nerve currents. And the objective of the true yogi, however, is freedom. Freedom from birth and death, and not long life. The goal of the yogi is to become immortal. But that immortality means getting rid of birth and death cycle, and not the medium of the body which is leading it to the moksha. Many a time, last week, I came across a very beautiful quote where it was written, to find yourself, you have to go within yourself. Otherwise, everything else you can find on Google. So to know ourselves, we need to within ourselves. And when it's said that statement, okay, otherwise everything else can be known on Google. That means material things can be understood with your whole senses, with your body, with your perception, everything. But to know yourself, you have to lose yourself. You have to lose the Google. You have to lose everything which connects you to Google or which connects you to material. The moment you are losing it, that is material, you are connecting yourself with what you are. And that is where, to find yourself, you have to go with it. Something has to be lost in order to something achieve. वो कहते हैं ना, कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. तो यहाँ पर खोना क्या है भाई? आप जिससे कनेक्टेड हो, अपना शरीर, अपनी इंद्रिय, अपना मन, अपनी बुद्धि. जब मैंने कहा कि बुद्धि को कैसे खो सकते हैं, बिकॉज चित्त इज अगेन द सेम part of our body which makes us realize what is the truth. So you have to lose that buddhi which connects you to matter, and you have to see the other side of the buddhi which shows you the picture of Purusha, Brahman, or the truth, or the Shiva, or the self. Now here, if you are into that connection with that Shira, that rasa which is flowing, you are actually seeing the other side of the intellect and not getting into it. Because that Shira is so Anandamai that everything else doesn't gives you that much interest as this will be able to you with the self or give you that enjoyment of the self. So this is how Khechari Mudra has been going on appreciated by Swatmaramji. Here, 25, 26 shlokas for this Khechari Mudra. But if you read Gheranda Samhita, at the most maximum 5 shlokas have been given to explain. And he stops there. Because somewhere I felt, okay, now Gheranda Muni has understood that people might have read Hatha Pratipika and no need of explaining that much, but make the importance of the same and go ahead. So that was also one thing which came into the mind. But here, the importance somewhere, not exaggeration as such, but again and again told to us that one should come to these facts. And then you see in the second one, he says, Sushiram Jnana Janakam Panchastrotah Samanvitam Tishtate Khechari Mudra Tasmin Shunye Niranjane. Yes, sir. You wanted to say something.
Sabir bhai, you have earlier explained, and I may not be exactly right, but the way I understood that these nadis are like autonomic nervous system. And now here, if we go by what is said, then it means that if we allow the body to function entirely by the autonomic nervous system, one day it will run out its course, and that is where death will occur. And now by doing this Khechari Mudra, are we trying to control the autonomic nervous system by the central nervous system, or what is happening to the nervous system in Khechari Mudra? Because earlier you had explained it in terms of the neurology. So is there some modern neurological explanation available for Khechari Mudra?
See, for Khechari Mudra, I am not aware, to be very frank. But Khechari Mudra is one of the practice leading to meditation and leading to a state of samadhi. As in this very text of Hatha Pratipika, in the 4th chapter, you will come across that samadhi can be attained with the help of Khechari Mudra. In Gheranda Samhita also, samadhi can be acquired by Khechari Mudra. Now, when we say autonomous nervous system and central nervous system or peripheral nervous system, the peripheral nervous system is the motor and sensory activity of the body, which according to our intentions function, or according to the atmosphere we realize. So the perception is happening through this motor and sensory nervous system. But the activities in the body is that of the autonomous nervous system. The autonomous nervous system takes care of your continuous breathing, takes care of continuous heartbeats, take care of digestion and everything. Without even you considering the same, the autonomous nervous system carries out the function. Now, what has happened here is you are going beyond the body. And the body, even it is said that if you are into Khechari, the death will never ensue. You will become immortal. Now, when he said that you are becoming immortal, what does that mean? That means death is not coming to us. We are not going to die, or it is something else. It is simple understanding, sir. That the moment you are into Khechari, you are overcoming time. You are overcoming the Kala phase, the day and night phase that we know. The experience with the material world is coming to a stillness, a stoppage. So there is aging, there is no experiencing of the material as we are completely inclined to the material world maybe. But now here you are completely devoid of it. So when you are completely devoid of it, just think about the functioning of the autonomous nervous system here. Are you depending on your lungs to live with the body? Maybe no. Are you depending on your heart to live with the body? Maybe no. Why? Because now the prana has established yourself has established itself in your body to such a great extent that you don't require the body to have the prana into it to enlive in it. In fact, you have become one with the prana itself. The body is just like something which is covering the prana here, but the prana which is there in and the prana which is there out, they both have become one. Just give you an analogy. You think about a ghata, a pot, because this example has been given in Karanta Samhita. I am bringing the same thing. The pot which is empty within, as the space is there. But when you are inserting water into it, you have to dip the pot into the water first. So the water in the pot and the water beside and around the pot becomes the same. Now, when you remove the pot out of the water, what we say, the pot contains the water. And it's said to be the life force is in the pot. So imagine the body as the pot and the life force, the prana into it. But what about this pot going ahead and becoming one with the prana itself? So the pot which is completely immersed in the water has gone down to the base, bottom of the water and got stationed over there. What you will say? You will not say that the pot still contains water, but you will say that the pot is now in the water. Now that is what is happening to the whole functioning of our body with respect to prana. And this is all because of Khechari. You are no more connected to the material world, but material world is completely immersed into that spirituality itself, which is like the saga. In the morning, when Sunil Bhai was telling us about that droplet, the droplet being dropped in the ocean, what is the identity of that drop now? It is ocean. So when you become the ocean itself, this is the state happens to you when you are in Khechari. You are one with that completely. So this body, even if it is in that ocean, it may remain like, because it cannot be destroyed, because as it was containing a state of Khechari Mudra, in that state of Khechari Mudra, you attained that state, the body remains enlivened along with that. इसका क्या हुआ मालूम है कि हमको अपने स्वरूप के साथ एक होने के लिए शरीर को त्यागना पड़ता है, लेकिन वो शरीर क्या शरीर है जिसके द्वारा हम खेचरी मुद्रा कर पाए, तो वो शरीर भी उतना पावन हो जाता है कि वो मैटर जो है, पंचमहाभौतिक शरीर जो है, वो भी उसके साथ में प्राणिक हो जाता है. कहने का मतलब ये हो गया. It is like that. So this is he is trying to explain to us. So what you said as the autonomous functioning, now the autonomous functioning is no more happening, but it has become constant. And that constancy remains as it is along your merging with the self itself. अब ये स्वात्माराम जी का समझाने का तरीका है या हम इसको उस तरह से समझ रहे हैं अब, या फिर ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस होता है, ये तो खेचरी मुद्रा करने के बाद ही पता चलेगा. This is we can just imagine and come to the conclusions all about. But one thing is very clear, that you go beyond body, beyond the functions of body, and even beyond the nervous system. That's how we have to take it. So how you would relate, sir, now? Yes, sir.
कुछ कह रहे थे.
मैं ऐसा कह रहा था सर कि see, prana is and Sabir bhai can correct me if I'm wrong. Prana is a different dimension altogether. But it's like electricity actually. Its effects can be seen, but we don't know what electricity is intrinsically. क्योंकि वो सटल डायमेंशन है. जो पहली सटल डायमेंशन है पर्सनालिटी की, अगर अपन पंचकोश भी देखें तो सारा कुछ अपना नर्वस सिस्टम, एनीथिंग दैट हैज अ केमिकल ओरिजिन, सो टू से, इंक्लूडिंग ऑल काइंड्स ऑफ स्टेट्स of ecstasy or otherwise, anything that has a chemical origin or is affected by chemicals is all Annamaya Kosh, and we have not even moved to prana yet. Right? So इसलिए अच्छा nadis जो है, to my limited understanding, are subtle channels through which these currents flow, but these are non-material currents, right? Now, लेकिन उनका इफेक्ट जो है, माने हवा चलती या दिखती नहीं है, लेकिन उसका इफेक्ट पत्ते हिलते हैं तो उससे आपको पता चल जाता है. तो नर्वस सिस्टम इज वेरी मच अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर ग्रॉस एग्जिस्टेंस. तो वो इक्वेट तो शायद नहीं मतलब अप्रोप्रिएट रहेगा, परंतु हाँ वाइस वर्सा, मतलब जैसे हम खाना खाते हैं तो अब हमारे बाकी जो हमारे कोश हैं उनको भी न्यूट्रिशन मिलता है, एंड वाइस वर्सा. आई मीन दवाई खाते हैं तो हमारा माइंड जो है मतलब अगर हम नींद की दवाई खाते हैं तो माइंड शांत हो जाता है, और अगर जब हमको ड्रीम्स आते हैं विच इज प्योरली मेंटल, लेकिन शरीर में बहुत सारी क्रियाएं कई बार होती हैं, हार्ट बीट बढ़ जाती है वगैरह वगैरह. सो दे आर मतलब वन हैज एन इफेक्ट ऑन द अदर, बट प्राण एज सच जस्ट टू नो, मतलब वो शायद इक्वेट करना अभी मेरे ख्याल में वो थोड़ा सा
yes, you are right. हाँ सर, आशुतोष सर.
Earlier mudra, that is Mahamudra, Kundalini will become awakened. But here he is saying you have to meditate on Kundalini while doing Khechari Mudra.
Uh-huh. See,
that's what that book said, no? Earlier one.
That is true.
51. No, sorry. Shodasha
is the 50th one. 50.
51. Murna Shodasha Patra Padma Galitam Pranad Avaptam Hathat Shaktim Paran Chintayan Urdhvasyo Rasanan Niyamya Vivare Shaktim Paran Chintayan. So here he is saying you have to think, meditate on Kundalini. And
yes.
what is the I mean, there must be something behind it.
See, in the other mudras also, the activation of Kundalini and movement of same is the same aspect is brought here also, because it is very clear that when the Chandra is not dripping down into the lower body, it is creating a scene of lot of energy development or the heat generating, you can say, because the cooling effect of the Chandra is not going down, so the heat inside is rising up. Now that heat which is being developed into the lower is like purifying the body, or you can say is like stimulating the Kundalini. So when a person is practicing Khechari Mudra, his attention should be there on the Shakti or on the Kundalini, because you are already retaining upward. So naturally, just taking your attention and focusing on the Kundalini itself will make it to rise. So rising of the Kundalini or focusing on the Kundalini, you can say it is one and the same thing. Because if you are saying that you are pressing the perineal region and activating Kundalini to push it up, that is where you are doing some physical action. But don't you think that when you are inserting the tongue into the nasopharyngeal tract itself is another physical action which is bringing about the same kind of activation of the Kundalini, so that when you are focused there, you find it going rising up above. So this is how we have to understand it and take it. Okay. And then he says, Sushiram Jnana Janakam Panchastotah Samanvitam Tishthate Khechari Mudra Tasmin Shunye Niranjane. Sushiram Jnana Janakam Panchastrotah. Now, the 5 channels, that is your throat region, The hollow, which in fact is the meeting place of the 5 channels, is the whole source of knowledge. The pure void is the seat of Khechari Mudra. And from this seat or from this hollow starts the upper passage, or you can say the nasopharyngeal tract in which you have inserted. So here, the tongue which is pressed into the cavity or through the upper palate where it meets the passages of the other openings, like 2 nostrils, and you can say 2 ears and the mouth. So these things which are meeting as the insertion is done. So there are people who talk about this Panchastrota as well as the Sapta Stotra. So when we talk about Sapta Stotra also, the 7 passages at this spot, you can say including the 2 eyes also. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils and the mouth. 7. But 7 का ये start कहाँ से हुआ? ये note यहाँ पे हुआ. So when the tongue is inserted into, it is like bringing about the whole control on all the sensual material aspect and bringing it under control, so that you are going beyond the material understanding and entering into the spiritual understanding. So, spot on which the yogi is concentrating for adopting the mudra is the seat of the Khechari Mudra, and the seat of the Khechari Mudra is the soft palate, or you can say the upper palate behind the hard palate. And for your information, in Gheranda Samhita, there is one more mudra added before Khechari Mudra, which is known as Nabho Mudra. And this Nabho Mudra is like a preparatory practice for Khechari Mudra itself. And this is being clarified here. Okay, one should understand this region of the soft palate. In fact, I still remember when I was doing my course with Devaladam, we used to attend dhyana sessions by the great Dr. R.S. Bhogal, a Sikh scholar in yogic literature. And he used to make us do this practice of turning tongue in and taking the tip of the tongue to the soft palate. The front upper palate is the hard palate, and behind that is the soft. So the front upper hardness can be felt by the tongue as well as the softness can be felt by the tongue. And he used to say, imagine you are listening there, you are hearing there, you are seeing there, you are feeling there, and you are tasting there. So he said, okay, for taste it is tongue, for hearing it is your ears, for eyes it is to see. But imagine this sense, you are completely focusing on that region and remaining there, and see how you feel. In fact, such kind of concentration was such a great feeling. You used to feel that you were totally disconnected with the external world. Now, let me make a highlight over here. When you are through the senses getting disconnected with the external world, the mind or the brain connecting through these nerves to the external world, they are getting withdrawn. So when they are getting withdrawn, the chanchalta or the functioning of the brain is slowly getting subjugated. Subjugated means what? The kind of strain or the effort that the brain was putting in is not at all getting into it. And it is always said, when you are with your senses externally, you are using less brain. And when you are with your senses converted inward, you are using more of the brain ability. So you are using those side of the brain which you never thought that you will come across. And now you are going beyond the ability of the material perception to the spiritual perception. ऐसा उन्होंने कहे कि हमको समझाने की कोशिश की. तो मुझे ऐसे लगने लगा कि सर ये तो इमेजिन कर सकते हैं, हम प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. बोले इमेजिनेशन आज है क्योंकि मैं कह रहा हूं, लेकिन जब तुम प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो you will literally find that you are going beyond all these things and getting lost into it. In fact, you are not lost. In fact, you find yourself a new venue and a new experience of the surrounding in that venue. So this Khechari Mudra is like that venue here in this shloka 53, 52, which we are being told by Swatmaramji, कि you are experiencing that venue. Once you are in that venue, you will forget everything else. और उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दिया your own sweet home. You may feel like going for a vacation to a hill station. You may feel like visiting a country and coming there, going there and coming back to your home. But when you come back to your home, you say, "Ahaha, sweet home," because your home is the eventual where you feel the ultimate satisfaction. No doubt, the change has happened. So now you're not realizing as you are into the various other changes related to material worldliness. But once you are into Khechari, once you come to that abode of experience of the true nature, you will feel that blissful experience. And that's what Swatmaramji is trying to explain here. You are coming back to your origin, where you are experiencing all these things. And you see, in the next shloka, he says, Ekam Srushti Bijamika Mudracha Khechari, Eko Devo Niralamba, Ek Avastha Manonmani. There is only one. There is only one all-pervading bija, that is Om, and only one mudra, that is Khechari. Only one deity, and the only one without any support, and only one without any kind of yogic state or of any consequences. And that ultimate state is Manonmani, beyond the state of mind. And the deity without any support or supreme reality, here we are talking about, according to Vedanta, it is none other than Brahman. So this is where Khechari leads you into the experience of the Brahman, we can say. This is how we are coming to the end of the Khechari here, understanding the aspect as explained. Yes, sir.
It is, I mean, there is so much written about Khechari, but Jnana Janakam, why is it called Jnana Janakam? That means all the sensation, as Dr. Bogle was saying, all the sensation happens from there, from this vacuum.
In fact, the sensations which we talk about will be the sensations which we have experienced. He is talking about, or Swatmaramji is talking about, the sensations which is beyond this, which we haven't experienced yet. Maybe we are coming to that knowledge in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras also. As we go through the Samprajñat Samadhi, the Savitarka stage leading us to Nirvitarka, the Savichar stage leading us into Nirvichara, Patanjali says, Nirvichara Vaisharadye Adhyatma Prasadaha. If you are going beyond this fourth stage of Samapatti, of Samprajñat Samadhi, you will be leading yourself into, or gifting yourself, that knowledge which you have never experienced before. That sensation, that experience is something beyond your material experience. So, Vitarka and Vichar is something related to our mental concept, related to the objects around us, and now we are going beyond them and experiencing something which is totally, beyond our expectations. That is the way here also we are trying to understand the same.
Sorry, sir, but one more question then. Can there be a sensation of which we are not aware? I mean, we know the five senses. So can there be a sensation of which we are not aware?
Yes.
Beyond
there
the
are
five
many
senses?
such sensations. Yes. See, when we talk about senses, the senses like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, these are the external instruments which are making you aware of the things around you. But there are internal instruments also which we call as Antakarana. We throughout our life hardly imagine ourselves to go into the experience of our Antakarana. Are we really exposed ourselves to them? And this Antakarana is nothing but Manaha Buddhi Ahankar Chitta. Manaha Buddhi Ahankar as three, and comprising of all these three as together is your chitta. So your chitta was until now, the internal instrument was exposed to the perception of the external instruments only. But now when you are subjugated to external instruments and completely depending on the internal world, please understand the sensory things that you will be coming across because of the internal instruments are going to be different, or they are going to be totally different. That is where you are coming across different in yoga. And let me tell you one thing. I will give you a simple example, though it is a material example, but it is a truth. Imagine you have never tasted the fruit of kiwi, which is usually produced in New Zealand. You have never tasted it. But now that kiwi is available in our India also. And for the first time when you taste it, you will start comparing. ये थोड़ा सा खट्टा है, थोड़ा सा मीठा है, कभी संतरे के जैसे लगता है, तो कभी मौसम्बी के जैसे लगता है, तो कभी, लेकिन आपने पहले तो कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया था उसको. आज आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया तो कई टेस्ट के साथ में उसका कंपैरिजन करना शुरू किया. तो वो कंपैरिजन कहाँ हो रहा है? The one which you have known. In the very similar manner, in Khechri also, we are comparing the taste of the strava of Chandra with the taste that we know, Katu, Amla, Tikta. But it is really not the same. It is different. It is beyond what you were experiencing as Katu, Amla, Tikta. It is beyond that. But now you are comparing it. So you start comparing all that, experience of godliness with the experience of happiness in the material world. Whether this is the bliss, whether this is the bliss, whether this is the same bliss. And then you realize, no. This is all beyond all what I had been experiencing until now. So this is something else. And that is a new experience. And the person who is experiencing this, having that wisdom, that experience. Maybe Swatmaranji is having that wisdom and he's sharing with us. But just listening to or reading to that wisdom, is it going to help us? We will become intellectual scholars. But practically, if we want to experience it and we want to prove, yes, this experience is different from what we say, this sensation is different from what we experience externally, then we literally need to do that practice and go into it. Because yoga is an experiential science. It is an empirical science. And in empirical sciences, unless and until you experience, you will not be able to come to the conclusions. That's what I have come to the conclusion, that unless and until you go into it and experience it, it is not possible. And even Patanjali Muni, he explains about Samprajñat Samadhi, but he doesn't give any explanation about Anya or Asamprajñat or Nirbija. Why? Because once a person goes to Nirbija Sthiti, he will not be even interested to make Sabir Bhai understand what is the feeling of Nirbija. So that is the state. You are going beyond every kind of material expectations. Whether it is belonging to Ashutosh sir, whether it is belonging to Sunil sir, or whether it is belonging to Sabir. भाई तुमको क्या जरूरत थी उसके लिए मैंने एक्सपीरियंस तो किया, लेकिन अब मुझे लगता है कि तुमको ये बताना कि ये क्या एक्सपीरियंस है फुजूल बात है, तुमको बता के कोई मतलब नहीं, तुम खुद एक्सपीरियंस करो इसको. इट इज एज लाइक दैट. सो इट इज देयर विद इन अस. जैसे कबीर जी भी कहते हैं कि वो कस्तूरी जिसका सुगंध तुम एक्सपीरियंस करके ढूंढ रहे हो कहाँ है, वो हमारे अपने में ही है. आप शांति से बैठो, अंदर की तरफ जाओ, उसको एक्सपीरियंस करो, you will go beyond. It will take you beyond. It is like making us understand about Khechri. Again, Khechri, though it is a physical practice, with that cutting of the frenum and insertion of the tongue in, ultimately the changes that we are experiencing, they are all conceptual only. It is like, you are coming to that state where you're completely detaching yourself from the senses. The moment you are detached from the senses, you are experiencing the truth. And that truth you experience whether with Hatha Yoga, you experience whether with Bhakti Yoga, whether you experiencing it with Jnana Yoga, or whether you are experiencing it with Karma Yoga, it will be the same. So sometimes a student asks, oh, sir, that Karma Yoga हम जो हमारा डे टू डे एक्टिविटी करके अगर मोक्ष की तरफ भगवान कृष्ण अगर कहते हैं कि फिर भी आप मोक्ष की तरफ चले जाओगे, so that experience is all done in the material world. How we are going there? Now you have to understand this is something which is very much conceptual. Whether it is a practical approach, whether it is experiential approach, whether it is the approach of surrender, it is all going to take you to the same experience of bliss. But the roots are different. That is how we have to understand Hatha Yoga also with respect to Khechari. I hope this is getting clear. You want to say something, sir?
Is Mahamudra a prerequisite for Khechari Mudra?
Yes. In fact, the moment Swatmaram ji includes Khechari as one of the practice along with Shambhavi for Samadhi, it is very clear that Mahamudra is preparing us for that Samadhi. And now you see, after explaining Khechari, he goes ahead and explains us the bandhas. But in Gheranda Samhita, it is not like that. In Gheranda Samhita, the three bandhas are explained first, and then the other mudras are explained. After Mahamudra, Nabho Mudra is explained. After Nabho Mudra, then the three bandhas, Moola Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and then you are coming to the Khechari or the other mudras. So here also, if he is explaining to us, and this has been always the way the great teachers intended us to. जैसे कि पातंजलि योग सूत्र में भी देख लो, the first chapter talks about samadhi, but the second chapter talks about sadhana, the practice. So ideally he should have spoken about sadhana first and then spoken about samadhi. But he first wants us to understand where you are heading to. What is the goal? What is the vision you should always have in the mind? And then you get connected to it by doing sadhana so that you are coming to it. So Khechari said and done. Now we should think about how to bring about the control on our senses, how to build that brahmacharya, how to have that kind of perception with all the other senses so that we are not external but we are becoming more internal. This the journey through the Uddiyana Bandha starts. And he says, Atho Uddiyana Bandha Bandhuena Sushumnayam Pranastu Uddiyate Yatah Tasmat Uddiya Nakhyoyam Yogi Bihi Samuddhartah. Now here, Tasmad Uddyanakyo Yam Yogi Bihi Samudhartah. So here, Samudhartah, the yogis call it Uddiyana because by this practice of locking the prana or making the prana confined to the Sushumna and making it to rise along with that nadi is Uddiyana. So Uddiyan is something where you are literally doing some action or some physical action whereby the pranic flow is getting arrested in your Sushumna nadi and going upward. As he says, Uddinam kurute yasmad vishrantam mahakagah Uddiyanam tad eva syat tatra bandho abhidiyate. By the dint of which the great bird is Mahakaga is nothing but the prana, which flies incessantly through the Sushumna, is Uddiyana. That bandha is now explained by me as under. Tad eva syat tatra bandho abhidiyate. तो ये उद्यान बंध का एक्सप्लेनेशन टेक्निक जो है वो नेक्स्ट श्लोक में आ रहा है. बट एक बात तो क्लियर हो गई, उद्यान बंध का पर्पस क्या है, उसका गोल क्या है, कि भाई जो प्राण शरीर के बाकी के सारे नाड़ियों के अंदर चंचल है या प्रचलित है, बह रहा है, उसको आप क्या करना है, आपको सारे नाड़ियों से अरेस्ट करते हुए कहाँ लेके आना है, सुषुम्ना में। सुषुम्ना में लाके क्या करना है, उसको ऊपर की तरफ उड़ाते हुए ले जाना है। दैट इज हाउ द पर्पस ऑफ द उड्डयन क्लैरिफाइड हियर। एंड द नेक्स्ट श्लोक, उदरे पश्चिमं तानम नाभे ऊर्ध्वं च कारयेत उड्डयानो ह्यासो बंधो मृत्यु मातंग केसरी। It is like that lion which is overcoming the elephantine death. Elephantine death, the death which again brings you into the birth and death cycle, and it is very heavy. And the one lion like Uddiyana, which is, it will make you to get rid of this birth and death cycle. So here, pull back the part of the abdomen and raise it to the level above the navel. This is Uddiyana Bandha. ऐसा करने से क्या होगा? From all channels, the energy of prana will getting subjected to the Sushumna Nadi, and it will rise up, it will go up, and as rising up, it is flying up. As it is flying up, this is nothing but Uddiyana. This is Uddiyana Bandha, which is like a lion to the elephant death. So the death is very heavy, which you are involved in because of this birth and death cycle. We always say, na, death is inevitable. If you are born, then you are supposed to die. But here, if you are born, it is like an opportunity to do the sadhana and never die. So जब हम कहते हैं कि death is inevitable, it is for the material point of view. But when spiritual point of view it comes, we should go beyond the achievement of the heaven or coming to the hell also. Yes, sir.
In Udyan Bandh, Rechak, Purak, Kumbhak, all three will continue, or only Kumbhak is allowed in Udyan Bandh?
In fact, you can say it this way: the Udyan which is practiced in pranayama is different from the Udyan which is explained here. Here we are told, though it is not mentioned in the literature clearly, but here we are explained and taught that as you inhale, exhale out completely. And as you exhale out, retain the breath out. As you retain the breath out, you will find your abdomen becoming relaxed, and then let the Uddiyana take place by pulling the abdomen towards the back. I still remember Guruji explaining the difference between Uddiyana and Agnisar. And he used to say, when you are practicing Agnisar, your tummy is as hard like an iron rod. And when you are practicing Uddiyana, your tummy is as soft like a cotton. So when you are having exhaled out completely, you are relaxing the abdomen. Because of the relaxation of the abdomen itself, you will find that the vacuum creation in the chest will pull the diaphragm up. The moment the diaphragm is pulled up, what happens to the abdomen? It goes in. And that is where it is said that the pranic forces, whether it is apana, samana, or vyana, or prana, they are all flying up, uddinam. And that is where we say Uddiyana Bandha is taking place, because that is where Udan Vayu is more active, which is leading you towards the upward. अब ये उड़ान वायु का मेन ड्यूटी क्या है कि when the prana and apan which are downward focused, as they are raised up, to take it more and more upward. That is the main aim of the Udan Vayu, to raise up. The moment that Udan Vayu becomes active, Kundalini is flowing up only, it is not residing down. Because this is creating force to let this prana or the Kundalini to fly up only, not to be down. If it is down, then it is to be understood that you are still connected with the material world. But if it's flying up, you are gaining the phase of spirituality as you go on going ahead. And he makes it clear in the next sloka. If this Uddiyana which I'm talking about has to be learned under the guidance of gurus. The way the gurus have taught us, that way you have to learn. So to learn Uddiyan, please go to a guru and understand. And then he says, Uddiyanam tu sahajam, guruna kathitam yatha, abhyaset satatam yastu, vruddho api tarunayate. Even if an old person is practicing Uddiyan as a matter of habit, which is the second nature, in the manner prescribed by the guru, he or she becomes young. Now, here, Dhopi Tarunayate, or the person becomes young. See, again, the words are in a kind of exaggerated way. If a normal uh, uh, illiterate in philosophy reads this statement, what that person will say, by practicing Uddiyana Bandha, I am going to become young, I will become more potential, I will become like a young chap rather than my graying hairs growing there. No, not at all. It's not like that. In fact, as I was telling you earlier also, our physical body goes through two processes, anabolic and catabolic. The catabolic process is the destruction. Anabolic process is construction. Until the age of 25 to 30, maximum 35, our body is experiencing anabolic process to the best of its ability. But after 35, 40, we can experience the generation of the good cells becoming lesser and lesser, and the destruction of the old cells, the speed is fastened up. The speed goes higher. So we say, कि अब तो मैं बूढ़ा होता चला हूं. That means the aging process has started. Now here, according to Uddiyan, we have to understand this. It is not the reversal of the aging, but it is the increment in the anabolic process. Because the anabolic process is the construction of the good cells. So when the construction of the good cells in the body is going on increasing, the destruction is somewhere stalled. And that is where it is said, Vruddhopi Tarunayate. So when we are bringing a kind of control on the destruction of the bad cell, the creation of the good cells is better and better and more. And that is where we are coming to this experience of, वृद्धोपी तरुणायते. और जैसे कहते हैं ना, बूढ़ा भी जवान महसूस करने लगता है. वो बीच में एक टीवी पे एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट आता था केसरी जीवन का, झंडू की केसरी जीवन का. आई डोंट नो वेदर यू पीपल माइट हैव सीन इट और नॉट. 17 साल का जवान या 70 साल का बूढ़ा, एंड दे बोथ आर वॉकिंग द स्टेयर्स, एंड दैट 17 साल का जवान इज इन अ डिलैपिलेटेड स्टेट, एंड द 70 साल का बूढ़ा इज वॉकिंग द स्टेयर्स लाइक एनीथिंग. और वो एडवर्टाइजमेंट दे दिया केसरी जीवन. In fact, people will start practicing Uddiyan Bandh instead of taking Kesari Jeevan to experience that kind of thing, if it is misunderstood. That is how we need to correct ourselves here. So here I would like to stop. There are other things we explained about Uddiyana, which is decorating it with more appreciation and all, which we will deal it in the next class, because it is already 11:45 now. So it is better we stop here.
So, sir, just one last point.
Yes.
So you are saying that Uddiyan Bandha will be after breathing out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to expel the breath out, retain the breath out. As you expand the chest, you are increasing the volume of the chest, and you will find that automatically the diaphragm is getting pulled up. And since the diaphragm is getting pulled up, the abdomen will come in. Yeah.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णम् आदाय पूर्णम् एवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. So while this time was Mahendraji's turn to facilitate,
जी.
but since he's not there, so next alphabetically is Sabir Bhai.